Assalamu alaikum. My name is Abir Drubo. Today we are going to talk about a very fundamental topic in circuit analysis, which is mesh analysis. So we began mesh analysis. Okay. So before discussing mesh analysis, we must know what is KVL or Kirchhoff's voltage law. KVL stands for Kirchhoff's voltage law. And the very simple explanation of mesh analysis is if we consider a closed loop. So if suppose if this is the electrical circuit and this is a closed loop. Suppose here is a resistance and here is a battery source. So if we consider this A, B, C and D, this is a closed loop. A closed loop or mesh is something like you start from one end and circulate through all the circuit and again reach the same point A. This is called a mesh or a loop. So if you could apply this KVL in a closed loop, that will be the mesh analysis. So a mesh analysis is basically a method to analyze a circuit or calculating the voltage across any element or current passing through element. Okay, so first, if we want to understand what is KVL or Kirchhoff's voltage law, we need to know what Kirchhoff or scientist Kirchhoff said. So KVL stands for Kirchhoff's voltage law. So if we want to understand this, we have to know that a battery or a voltage source can do two things. It is a voltage source. It is a voltage source. Okay, so a voltage source can do two things. One, it can increase the voltage across 2 points. It can also decrease the voltage across 2 points depending on its polarity. Suppose it is plus and minus. If it increases the voltage of two nodes, then this will decrease the voltage of that two node. This is at opposite polarity. So if here we can see if here we can see that voltage source can increase or decrease the polarity, decrease the voltage. Now, if we consider a resistor or load, a resistor or load will always decrease the voltage. It will always decrease the voltage. Okay, so if this is a load, here we are considering a resistive load. So a resistor will always decrease the voltage. So what Kirchhoff says is if we consider a closed circuit and this closed circuit is comprising with many elements such as a resistance, a voltage source, battery, or different elements. So what KVL or Kirchhoff voltage law says that in a closed loop, if we circulate through any particular direction, if we calculate all the voltage increases by the voltage source, which will be equal to the voltage decreased by this load or resistance. That means if we put all the voltage increase to the left side, we have to put all the voltage decrease to the left side, right side. Then these two will be equal. And this is the fundamental concept of KVL. So if we could apply this KVL to a closed circuit or mesh, we will came across the mesh analysis. Now here if we consider a circuit like this, there is a resistor R, there is a battery like this, there is again a resistor which is also R, this battery is E1 and there is another battery, then finally the resistor, the circuit is closed. This is the ground. Okay, now if we say this is a circuit or a closed mesh of A, B, C and D. Now this is a circuit. If we consider it is in closed circuit A, B, C, D. Now here if we consider a current which is circulating at clockwise direction, which is I. So here we can see that if according to the Ohm's law, we can say that V is equal to IR. That means if we multiply the current going through a resistor, then we will get the voltage across that resistor. So if we want to measure the voltage across this resistor, we will get I into R. Okay. Now if we are considering that if we current inserts to the negative polarity, we will consider that as negative. So here current inserting to the negative polarity of the voltage source, so we are considering it negative, so it is minus E1. So again if we circulate to this circuit, then we'll come across this resistor, so it will be I into R. So if we again goes to C to D, so we again get the another resistor R, so it will be R into I into R. So finally if here we are inserting we're going inside the positive polarity of the battery, so we will write it, if it is E2, so we will write it plus E2. Now here it will be equal to 0. So if we take all the positive parts like this one and all the resistors, it will be like it will be IR1 IR plus IR plus IR, which will be equal to E1 minus E2. So here we are seeing that in the left hand side are all components which are resistors or which are voltages which is decreased, voltages which is decreased by the resistors, voltage which are decreased by the resistor on the right hand side. Depending on the polarity, this E1 is increasing the voltage and E2 is decreasing the voltage. So this in summation, this voltage increased by the battery or the voltage source. So according to the KVL, we can see that this voltage decrease is equal to voltage increase, and this is the finally the KVL, or we can also call it the mesh equation or mesh analysis equation. Mesh analysis equation. Thank you very much. So this is a very basic and fundamental concept. We can also illustrate the same thing as KC or Kirchhoff's current law, which comprises the node analysis or nodal analysis. Okay. Thank you very much.